Sometimes, the road we planned simply bends. You expected to arrive sooner. You expected the path to be straight, clear, predictable, certain. But life has a quiet habit of guiding us somewhere else. A delay appears, a door closes, a path curves away from where you thought you should go. And for a moment, the mind resists. It asks questions. It searches for explanations. It wonders why the journey did not unfold the way it imagined. Yet, there is an old understanding shared across many quiet traditions. Sometimes, the road that curves away is the road that protects you. Tonight's story is about that gentle truth, about trusting the bends in the path, about letting the journey unfold without force, and allowing the mind to rest, just as a traveler rests beneath the calm glow of moonlight. Welcome to Sleepy Zen Story, a quiet place where stories move slowly, thoughts soften, and the mind gradually drifts into rest. Before we begin, take a small moment to notice where you are. Where in the world are you listening from tonight? Maybe you are resting in a quiet room. Maybe the night outside your window is still and peaceful. Or maybe the world around you is gently alive with distant sounds. And what time is it for you right now? Is it late evening, the deep hours of night, or the early quiet moments before sleep fully arrives? Wherever you are, and whatever time it is, you are welcome here. If you enjoy these calm journeys and would like more stories like this, you may subscribe to Sleepy Zen Story, but there is no need to think about that now. Let that thought float away like a leaf on water. Tonight is simply about resting. There was once a quiet road that followed the edge of a wide river. The road was not famous. It was not busy. Few travelers chose it because it curved and wandered instead of moving straight toward the larger towns. But those who walked it often noticed something unusual. The road seemed to move with the landscape rather than through it. It curved gently around old trees. It dipped beside the riverbanks. It rose slowly along hills where moonlight reflected on the water below. And at night, the road became especially peaceful. The gravel beneath each step made a soft, steady sound, a slow rhythm, step, and another step. The night breeze drifted across the river, cool and gentle. The air carried the quiet scent of water and stone, and above everything, the moon rested calmly in the sky. One evening, a traveler found himself walking along this road. He had not planned to be there. In fact, the road had appeared only after his original path had unexpectedly ended. Earlier that day, he had been walking toward a distant village. He had followed the main road for many hours, but just before sunset, he discovered the road was closed. A fallen section of earth had collapsed along the hillside, making the path impossible to cross. There were no signs, no warnings, just the sudden end of the road. The traveler stood there for a long moment. He felt the familiar frustration that many travelers know. Plans interrupted, time lost, journeys delayed. With a quiet sigh, he turned back and searched for another route. Eventually, he noticed a smaller road branching away from the hillside, a narrow path, gravel instead of stone,
curving away toward the river. It did not look efficient. It did not look fast, but it was the only road available. So he followed it.
At first, the traveler walked quickly. He hoped the curved road would reconnect with the main path sooner than it appeared. But as the evening deepened, he realized something strange. The road never straightened. It simply continued curving gently beside the river. The traveler slowed his steps. The sun dipped lower, and gradually night arrived. Moonlight began to spread across the water. The river reflected silver patterns that moved slowly with the current. The traveler paused beside the riverbank. For the first time that evening, he stopped thinking about the road ahead. Instead, he simply listened. The breeze moved softly through the tall grasses. Small ripples brushed against the stones near the shore, and somewhere far away, an owl called once into the night. The traveler noticed something unexpected. The frustration he had felt earlier had begun to fade, not because the road had become shorter, but because the night had become peaceful. He sat beside the river for a while, just breathing, just listening, just allowing the quiet of the evening to settle inside his mind. And slowly, he began to realize something. If the main road had not collapsed, he would never have found this one. The traveler remained beside the river for a while, not because he had to, but because the night had quietly invited him to pause. The moon was now higher in the sky, spreading a gentle silver glow across the water. The river moved calmly, never rushing, never resisting the shape of the land it followed, just flowing. The traveler watched the current for a moment and noticed something simple. The river never moved in a straight line. It curved, it bent around rocks, it drifted slowly around small islands of stone. It followed the natural shape of the earth without complaint, and somehow it always reached where it needed to go. The traveler stood again and continued walking along the gravel road. Step and another step. The sound of his footsteps blended softly with the night breeze. After some time, the road curved around a large bend in the river, and there, not far ahead, he noticed a small wooden bridge crossing a narrow stream that flowed into the river. Beside the bridge stood a small lantern. Its warm light flickered gently in the darkness, and sitting near the lantern was an old man. The traveler slowed as he approached. The old man did not seem surprised to see him. In fact, he appeared as though he had been expecting someone to arrive. "Good evening," the traveler said politely. The old man nodded with a calm smile. "Good evening," he replied. His voice was quiet and steady, like someone who had spent many years listening to the world rather than speaking to it. The traveler glanced at the bridge. "Does this road lead back to the main road?" he asked. The old man gently shook his head. "No," he said. "This road follows the river for many miles before joining another path." The traveler sighed softly. "So it is longer." "Yes," the old man said. "It is longer." For a moment, the traveler felt the familiar weight of delay again. Another road, more time, more distance. But then the old man added something unexpected. Yet many travelers are safer because of it. The traveler looked at him with curiosity. "Safer?" The old man nodded slowly. "The main road you were walking earlier, it passes along a steep mountain pass." The traveler thought about the path he had left behind.
He remembered the narrow edges of the hillside, the loose stones along the slope, the long drop toward the valley below. The old man continued. Several years ago, during a night very much like this one, a storm passed through the mountains. The rain loosened the earth, and the road collapsed. The traveler listened quietly. Many travelers had already passed through the mountain road earlier that evening, the old man said. They hurried because they believed the straight road was the fastest. The lantern beside the bridge flickered softly. But a few travelers had taken this road instead. The curved road, the slow road. The storm passed while they were still beside the river, the old man said. And because they were here, they were safe. The traveler felt the quiet weight of those words. The old man looked out across the water. Sometimes, he said slowly, the road that delays you is the road that protects you. The traveler stood silently beside the lantern, listening to the river, listening to the wind. And for the first time since his journey had been interrupted earlier that evening, he felt something shift inside his mind. Perhaps the curved road was not a mistake. Perhaps the delay was not a problem to solve. Perhaps it was simply part of the journey.
The old man stood and lifted the lantern. "Would you like to cross the bridge?" he asked. The traveler nodded. They walked slowly across the wooden planks. The bridge creaked gently beneath their steps. Below them, the small stream moved quietly toward the river. The traveler paused in the center of the bridge. From there, he could see the moon reflected in the water. The reflection shimmered and shifted with every small movement of the current, and yet the moon above remained perfectly still. The old man noticed where the traveler was looking. "The reflection moves," he said softly, "but the moon does not." The traveler watched the water for a moment longer. "How often do travelers come this way?" he asked. "Not many," the old man replied. "Most prefer the straight road, even when the straight road is not always the wisest one." The traveler smiled faintly. "I suppose I was one of them." The old man chuckled gently. "Most of us are." For a moment, neither of them spoke. The night air moved calmly across the river. The lantern light swayed slightly in the breeze, and somewhere along the riverbank, the grasses whispered softly against one another. Then the old man spoke again. "Would you like to know something interesting about this road?" The traveler nodded. "Many travelers believe the road curves because it was built that way." The old man gestured toward the river. "But the road was never truly built. It was discovered." The traveler looked at him with curiosity. "Discovered?" "Yes," the old man said. "Long ago, people tried to build a straight road beside the river, but each season the water shifted, the land changed, the ground softened, so the straight road never lasted." The old man raised the lantern slightly, and eventually someone realized something simple. The land already knew the best path. The river had shaped it over centuries. The safest road was not the straight one. It was the one that followed the natural curves. The traveler felt a quiet understanding settle inside him. The river moved, the land shifted, and the road adapted. Just like life, just like journeys, just like the unexpected turns that often lead us somewhere we never planned to go.
The traveler thanked the old man for the lantern light and the conversation, but before leaving he asked one final question. "Do you ever wish the road were straight?" The old man smiled again. He looked out across the moonlit river, and after a long, thoughtful pause, he said, "If the road were straight, you would have never stopped here tonight." The traveler laughed softly. He realized the old man was right. The curved road had given him something the straight road never would have: a quiet evening beside the river, a peaceful conversation, and a small understanding about the unexpected bends in life. Sometimes the road curves away for a reason. The traveler thanked the old man once more. The lantern light flickered gently as the bridge keeper returned to his quiet seat beside the stream. The soft glow remained behind him, a small island of warmth in the wide stillness of the night. The traveler stepped back onto the gravel road. For a moment he turned and looked again at the bridge. The old man had become almost part of the landscape, calm, still, patient, like the trees that had grown beside the river for many years. The traveler lifted his hand in a quiet farewell. Then he continued walking, step and another step. The road curved again, slowly guiding him farther along the riverbank. The sound of the gravel beneath his feet returned to its steady rhythm. Above him, the moon had risen higher. Its soft light now spread across the valley, illuminating the quiet shapes of distant hills and the silver ribbon of the river winding through the land. The traveler noticed something interesting as he walked. Earlier that evening, his mind had been busy with plans, with schedules, with expectations about when he should arrive and where he should be. But now those thoughts had begun to fade. The road did not ask him to hurry. The river did not ask him to decide anything. The night simply invited him to continue walking, slowly, calmly.
With each step, the mind softened a little more, and after some time, the traveler noticed the valley around him had begun to change. The river widened slightly, the hills became lower and more open, and ahead, the road began to descend gently into a wide valley filled with tall grass and scattered trees. The moonlight rested softly across the landscape. The traveler paused at the top of the slope. From there, he could see something unexpected. Several smaller paths branched away from the main road. They curved through the valley in quiet directions, weaving gently between the trees and fields. None of the paths were perfectly straight. Each one curved softly, as if following the natural flow of the land. The traveler slowly walked down the hill toward them. The grass whispered softly in the night breeze. Somewhere nearby, water trickled quietly over smooth stones. And as he entered the valley, he noticed something unusual. The air itself felt calmer here, not silent, but peaceful, as if the valley had been resting for a very long time. The traveler walked along one of the smaller paths for a short distance, then another. Each path seemed to lead somewhere slightly different. One followed a narrow stream through a small grove of trees. Another curved gently toward a hill where the moonlight illuminated the rocks in pale silver. And another path wound slowly back toward the river itself.
The traveler realized something simple. None of these paths were competing with each other. None of them tried to reach a destination faster than the others. They simply followed the shape of the valley, each one leading somewhere, quietly. The traveler sat down on a smooth stone beside one of the paths. The night breeze moved slowly through the tall grass. The moonlight painted soft patterns across the ground, and for a moment he closed his eyes, not to sleep, but simply to rest. His breathing slowed. The quiet valley seemed to breathe with him. Inhale and gentle exhale. The traveler thought again about the road he had planned to take earlier that day. The straight road, the fast road, the road that would have carried him quickly across the mounting pass. And he realized something that had not occurred to him before. If he had taken that road, he would have arrived somewhere sooner, but he would have missed all of this: the river under moonlight, the bridge and the lantern, the old man's quiet wisdom, and this hidden valley of peaceful paths. The traveler opened his eyes again. The moon was reflected now in a small pool of water beside the path. The reflection shimmered gently with the movement of the breeze. For a long moment he watched the reflection, and slowly a quiet understanding formed in his mind. Life often looks like a straight road when we plan it, but the land beneath us, the unseen shape of events, the quiet unfolding of time, rarely moves in straight lines. Paths bend, journeys curve, detours appear, and sometimes those detours lead us somewhere far more peaceful than the destination we first imagined. The traveler stood again, not because he felt hurried, but because he felt ready to continue. He stepped back onto the main road that followed the river. The valley slowly opened ahead of him. The gravel path curved gently into the moonlit distance, and as he walked, the steady rhythm of his footsteps returned once more. Step and another step. The breeze moved softly across the valley. The river continued its quiet journey, and the curved road carried the traveler forward, calmly, patiently, exactly where he needed to go. The traveler continued walking through the valley. The road beneath his feet curved gently, almost like a quiet river made of stone and gravel. It never rushed forward in a straight line. Instead, it wandered calmly through the landscape, following the natural rhythm of the earth. Step and another step. The night had deepened now. The moon rested high above the valley, casting a soft glow across the tall grasses and scattered trees. The river moved beside the road like a patient companion, its surface shimmering with slow waves of silver light. The traveler felt different than he had earlier that evening. The frustration that once filled his mind had softened, then slowly disappeared. In its place was something quieter, a gentle acceptance. Not the kind that comes from giving up, but the kind that appears when we realize the journey may know something we do not. He noticed his breathing had become slow and steady. Inhale and a calm exhale. The traveler allowed his shoulders to relax as he walked. There was no need to hurry now. The road would take him where it was meant to go, and the night would guide him until morning arrived. After some time, the road curved again and began to rise slightly along a small hill beside the river. From the top of the hill, the traveler could see far across the valley. The river wound through the land like a ribbon of quiet light. The smaller paths he had noticed earlier were now faint lines disappearing into the grass and trees. Some led toward the river. Some curved toward the hills. Some vanished into darker parts of the valley where the moonlight could not fully reach. Yet each one seemed peaceful. Each one seemed right for the traveler who would one day walk it. The traveler sat once more on a smooth rock near the hilltop. He listened to the quiet sounds of the valley, the whisper of wind in the grass, the gentle movement of water against the riverbank, the distant rustle of leaves from trees that had stood there long before he arrived. As he rested, he remembered the words of the old bridge keeper. Sometimes the road that delays you is the road that protects you. The traveler looked down at the curved road beneath him. Earlier that day, he might have seen it as an inconvenience, a detour, a mistake in his journey. But now he saw something different. The road was not lost. It was simply patient. It followed the shape of the land the way the river did. It moved around obstacles instead of fighting them. It curved gently where the earth required it. And because of that, the road remained safe. The traveler closed his eyes again for a moment. The night breeze brushed softly against his face. His breathing slowed even further. Inhale and long, comfortable exhale. He imagined the roads in his life, the plans he had made, the paths he had expected to follow. Some had been straight and clear. Others had curved unexpectedly. Some had ended suddenly, forcing him to find another way. At times, those changes had felt frustrating, confusing, even unfair. But sitting quietly beneath the moonlight now, he could see something he had not noticed before. Each detour had also carried a hidden gift, a meeting that would not have happened, a place that would not have been seen, a quiet moment that would never have existed if the path had remained straight. The curved roads had protected more than they delayed. The traveler opened his eyes. The valley was still and peaceful. The river continued its calm journey under the moon, and the curved road waited patiently for his next step. He stood slowly, not rushed, not worried, just ready. Step and another step. As he walked, he allowed his mind to rest in the rhythm of the journey. No need to solve every question. No need to control every direction. Just walking, just breathing, just allowing the road to unfold beneath him. And as the traveler continued deeper into the valley, the road curved once more, guiding him gently into a quieter part of the night, a place where the sounds of the world softened, where the breeze moved slower, where the mind could gradually drift toward sleep. The traveler walked beneath the calm glow of the moon. His footsteps grew lighter, his breathing deeper, and the peaceful valley seemed to welcome him, just as it now welcomes you. So as the road continues ahead and the night grows softer around you, you may begin to let go of the day behind you. There is nothing you need to solve tonight, nothing you need to hurry toward. Like the traveler on the curved road, you can simply rest in the quiet movement of the journey. Inhale slowly and exhale gently. Let the mind settle like still water, Let the thoughts drift away like clouds passing across the moon. The road will continue, the river will flow, and rest will arrive naturally. The traveler continued along the curved road. The valley had grown even quieter now. The breeze that once moved through the grass had softened into something almost invisible. The river flowed beside the path like a quiet companion, its gentle rhythm blending with the slow cadence of footsteps on gravel. Step and another step. The traveler no longer wondered how long the road would take. He no longer searched for signs pointing toward a final destination. Instead, he simply walked, calmly, patiently, trusting that the road beneath his feet already knew where it was going. The moon had now reached the center of the sky. Its silver light washed over the valley like a gentle blanket. The hills rested peacefully in the distance, and the tall grass moved only slightly in the cool night air. The traveler felt his breathing deepen. Inhale, slow and steady. Exhale, long and relaxed. As he walked, he noticed how quiet his thoughts had become. Earlier in the day, his mind had been busy, thinking, planning, worrying about time and direction. But now those thoughts felt distant, like echoes fading across a wide landscape. The curved road had slowly taken those thoughts away, not by force, not by answers, but simply by allowing time and stillness to do their quiet work. The traveler came upon another gentle bend in the road. This one curved closer to the river than before. The water flowed beside him now, only a few steps away. Moonlight shimmered across its surface, creating soft patterns that drifted slowly with the current. He stopped walking for a moment and listened. The quiet movement of water against the riverbank, the distant rustle of leaves, the deep stillness of the night. Everything seemed calm, balanced, exactly as it should be. The traveler sat down beside the river. The stone beneath him was cool and smooth, warmed slightly by the gentle air of the valley. He placed his hands loosely in his lap. His shoulders softened. His breathing slowed once more. Inhale and exhale. As the river continued its quiet journey, the traveler noticed something simple. The water never forced its way forward. It curved. It adapted. It followed the path that the land naturally offered. And yet, it always arrived where it was meant to go. The traveler allowed this understanding to settle peacefully in his mind. Life often asks us to move like the river, not always straight, not always fast, but gently, patiently, trusting that the curves of the journey are part of the way forward. Above him, the moon shone calmly. Its reflection drifted softly across the surface of the water. The traveler watched the reflection for a while. Then, slowly, his eyelids became heavier, not from exhaustion, but from peace, the kind of peace that arrives when the mind no longer tries to control the road ahead, the kind of peace that appears when we allow the journey to unfold naturally. The traveler lay back on the grass beside the river. The night air was cool and comfortable. The sounds of the valley moved around him like a gentle lullaby. The river flowing, the breeze whispering through the tall grass, the distant call of a night bird somewhere far beyond the hills. His breathing became slow and rhythmic. Inhale, soft and easy. Exhale, long and quiet. If you are listening now, you may begin to notice your own breathing in the same calm way. There is nothing you need to change. Just allow each breath to arrive naturally, and allow each exhale to release the weight of the day. Imagine yourself walking beside that same peaceful river, the gravel road beneath your feet, the soft moonlight across the valley, the quiet curves of the path stretching gently into the distance. There is no rush, no pressure to arrive anywhere tonight. Just the calm rhythm of the journey, step and another step.
But even that movement can now begin to slow. The road continues without effort. The river continues without force. And your mind can rest in that same quiet flow. If any thoughts appear, simply allow them to pass like clouds moving across the moon. They do not need to stay. They do not need to be followed. They can simply drift away. The traveler beside the river now rests peacefully. The curved road continues its gentle path through the valley, and the night holds everything in a quiet, steady stillness. Breathing in and breathing out. The calm rhythm of rest grows deeper. The valley becomes softer. The sounds of the river fade gently into the background, and the mind drifts slowly toward sleep. Like the traveler who discovered that the road which curved away was not a mistake, but a quiet protection, a gentle reminder that sometimes the journey guides us exactly where we need to be. The moon continues to shine above the valley. The river continues its peaceful flow, and the curved road continues quietly into the night. Now the valley grows even quieter. The breeze slows, the sounds soften, and sleep begins to arrive naturally, gently, peacefully. Rest now. Let the mind become still. Let the body relax completely, and allow the night to carry you into deep and comfortable sleep. Good night from Sleepy Zen Story.